Hey there, Professor K here. And you may be wondering why I am glowing with starlight and the galaxy and things floating around in my hair. This is because I have recently discovered that in Zoom, you can choose any color you like as a green screen, including your own hair color. So if you have very brightly colored hair, this is a great way to play around with your classmates and coworkers. However, that's not actually the point of this video. The point of this video is accessibility. So unfortunately, I have to turn this green screen off and show you the fabulous world around me and also show you that the trick behind this is I'm wearing blue lipstick. So if you're wondering why I'm wearing bright blue lipstick and explaining accessibility to you, that's actually what's happening there. So as promised, what I'm doing today is I'm going to show you what it's like to navigate the web using some alternate tools, including a screen reader and using the keyboard. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and we are on bu.edu/healthway. And I'm going to turn on VoiceOver, which is a screen reader application that's included with every Mac by default, real easy to bring up by doing Command F5. And as I do this, it's going to read off some instructions or it's going to read off things on the screen. Two-sided user, this might be really annoying because you might say, well, I can just read it. Why do you have to read everything off? For a non-sighted user, these verbal cues are very, very important in order to understand where you are in the site. So, what I would recommend is during this demo, just close your eyes a few times and listen. Listen to what it's like to actually navigate through this site. With that, we're going to use Command F5 to open this.
VoiceOver on Safari. Healthway window. Toolbar. You are currently on the toolbar. To interact with the items on this toolbar, press Control, Option, Shift, down arrow.
So, let's say you have like limited mobility and you can't use the exact pointer that a mouse would give you. What you need to do is use the keyboard. So I'm going to tap through a few things just to give you an idea of what that looks like.
Share button. Show/hide tab overview button. Leaving toolbar. Visit link. Back to view. Link. Undergraduate student guide. Currently on a link inside of web content. To click this link, press Control, Option, Space. To exit this web area, press Control, Option, Shift, up arrow.
Now, notice as I'm tabbing that we are only focusing on things that I can take an action on. So I'm not actually reading through everything using the screen reader. Using the tab, I'm just going to things that are active. So notice that Back to BU was read off, Undergraduate Student Guide was read off, and next Graduate and Professional Student Guide will be read off. This is important because when you're structuring HTML and you're thinking about writing in the web, notice that you might not always have the context of the words around it to support what's actually happening in the site. So if you have like three read mores in a row, someone using a screen reader probably won't understand what the context of that read more is. So you really want your link text to be descriptive.
Visit link. Graduate and Professional Student Guide. Visit link. Skip to main content. Banner. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, Space.
So this is what's called a skip link. Skip links allow you to skip directly to the most important content on the page. It's not going to do much here, but in the case of like a long editorial article, a skip link would be really important because it would skip all the navigation, all the menus, all the stuff that kind of dumps you to the top of the page. It's really repetitive across the site and allow you just to get to the main content. So let's see what this site considers the main content here. We're going to do that by pressing Control Option Space.
Press Visit link. Skip to main content. Heading level 2. COVID-19 prevention and testing for our community. You are currently on a heading level 2.
So notice that the screen reader is actually announcing what type of HTML element is in use on this page. So this is in the heading level 2, and it knows to skip to this content because it's the heading that's in the main content area. So this site considers the most important content, the COVID-19 prevention and testing for our community. And from here, it's really easy to navigate to students and faculty and staff in order to go through your testing results.
Link. Faculty and staff report your symptoms. Get a confirmation for candidates access. Schedule a COVID-19 test or get your test results at Occupational Health Connect. Go now. Complimentary. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, Space.
So if I were to click this link now, it would take me over to the web portal and I would be able to navigate through there using a screen reader. But for the moment, let's see how you might skip through a site. Right now, we've been going for sort of step by step and in order. What might it look like in a screen reader if we skipped around like we more naturally would as a sighted user in the page? So one of the ways that we can do that is using what's called the rotor menu. That's Control Option.
No items in Websocks menu. Landmarks menu.
And what this rotor menu does is it shows different areas on the page that help us understand a little bit more about the page structure. So you can see that we have a banner, which is going to be that top navigation area, main, which is going to be all of the main content. And then each of these complementaries is kind of like side information related to content. We also have
Save articles. Links menu.
all of the links, right? So as you look through this link, notice that wherever we have a learn more, it's not clear where you would go to from that place. So here, back to BU is really clear. Undergraduate student guide is really clear. Healthway and report your systems is really clear. But the learn more is not. It's not really clear what exactly that would do. As it turns out, all that does is skips you further down the page. So that might be okay in this case, but you really want to be careful with generic text and links because it's really difficult for people using screen readers to access that information.
Headings menu.
This is pretty cool. So notice that the screen reader has actually generated a menu using the headings. And when you use really well structured headings, you can understand what part and what section of the document you're going to skip to. So take a look at the numbers in front of each and then think about what that structure might look like in your head. So here we have the first heading is an important announcement, right? That's going to be the back to be. That's saying right now we're doing things on campus a little bit differently. Here's where to go for that information. The second level of heading is this COVID-19 prevention and testing for our community. And underneath that, there are two subheadings, students and faculty and staff. From there, you can see a couple of major sections, prevention and testing tutorials and helpful resources. You know that those are sections because it's a heading level two. And then underneath, you can see subheadings saying how to take the test, how to report systems, how to properly wear a face mask. Under helpful resources, there's visit back to BU and COVID-19 health and commitment. If we were to select one of these headings, we'd be able to jump further down the page and navigate more like a cited point. So let's take a look at what that's like.
Heading level 1. Heading level 2. Heading level 2. Heading level 2. Prevention and testing tutorials. You are currently on a headings menu. Heading level 3. Link. More advised preventative measures. Headings menu. Heading level 1. Heading level 1. Important announcement. You are currently on a heading level 1 inside of web content. To exit this web area, press Control Option Shift Up arrow.
So notice how it's really easy because of the way that this is structured to skip around from section to section and back up to the top of the page. That's really important for keyboard navigation and for screen readers and for accessibility in general. Imagine if you had used H1s for every single level of the page. You wouldn't be able to tell from the screen reader perspective what the hierarchy is. And so somebody wouldn't be able to navigate to the information they need in groups really quickly. Remember, the way that you're structuring your HTML is really about grouping information. So let's try one more option in our screen reader and let's see if we can find menu alt. I'm going to do Control Option.
Enter search text.
All right. From here, you can search different things. I'm going to escape and I'm actually going to do Shift Control Option F.
Find menu A1 items.
So this is another way that you could navigate a website a little bit differently. So notice how each of these is referring to an HTML element. So down here, you can see,
Find control. Find next heading level 1.
right? Find the next major heading. Find the next
Find next
subheading.
heading level 2. Find next link Control Option Command L.
Find the next link, right? You could even search for form elements here. Find the next table. Where's the data on the page? So as you can see, people using VoiceOver or another screen reader or even a keyboard to navigate a website are really reliant on what you choose to use in your HTML. And that's why I believe so strongly in this and why I really hammered this home in this lecture. This is one of the most important things you can do to make sure that your information is accessible to everybody. And I truly believe that this is something that we as web developers, as web designers, are completely responsible for doing. It's so important to make sure that your content is accessible, that your headings are accessible, and that you're really distributing information in an equitable manner. If you're not doing that, I would say you're really not doing your job as a communicator. So as you work through this week's activities and as you think more about like, how can I apply this to my own information and my web design work in the future, think carefully about these things that you might overlook or you might pass by and say, oh, it's just HTML, it's just semantics, right? At the end of the day, it's a little more than just semantics. It's someone's life. It's someone's ability to access information and live as an equal to you. And you have that power in your hands. That's pretty amazing stuff. And pretty insane. So my ask as your professor is use it responsibly, you know, really think about what you're doing with your HTML tags. It's so, so important. So we'll talk more about accessibility throughout this course. We'll talk about where it intersects with design and development. But for here, start out with thinking carefully about your HTML tags. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you later.